It is 19 minutes past 9 on this Friday morning, aka business time, transfer business time. You're very welcome, Stephen Doyle, to your very first Deal or No Deal. Phil Egan, as ever, is with us. And before we get to anything else this morning, there is news on Diego Costa. We told you earlier in the week that Jim White said that the Everton rumour was a non-starter based on his conversation with a top Everton executive. However, there is a major update. Marco Silva does want the striker, who is surplus to requirements at Atletico Madrid, to come to Everton, according to everyone from The Sun to The Guardian this morning. That's on top of the reports of a move to Wolves, brokered by super agent and friend of the club, Jorge Mendes. And there's a new player in the story. West Ham have been linked with the Spanish star. Sam Allardyce thinks that Costa would get Everton into the Champions League or get West Ham into Europe. He was on the Jim White show, which previously rubbished the rumours. he said, I reckon he would thrive being a big fish in a smaller pond as well. I think it would be a perfect fit. He's definitely the sort of player who will be a hit with the West Ham fans. I've seen him unravel calm defenders and turn them into having fights that they never want to have. And by doing so, they lose concentration. And then all they're concentrating on is trying to take a chunk out of him rather than defending properly. When he plays like that, that's when he's at his best. Where do we want to see Diego Costa next season?
I think the best move for Costa is Wolves.
Yeah.
They're the team.
He has to go to Everton though.
Everton would be great for him.
I would love to. And do you know something? I want to see Kevin Kilbane happy next season. I want to be maybe at Premier League games with Kevin Kilbane with a smile on his face, Goodison Park. And one thing I know that will make Kevin Kilbane a very happy man is to see Diego Costa at Everton, his favourite player in world football at the moment. And he's going to follow in the footsteps of Duncan Ferguson. Imagine Duncan Ferguson coaching Diego Costa.
He'd be a cult hero at Everton.
Yeah.
I thought you said something else there.
No. He obviously, in terms of, they probably need him. Well, Everton and West Ham need him the most. Wolves have decent options up front. They've obviously brought in Raúl Jiménez on a permanent deal. But yeah, if he went to Everton, that's what Everton need. As good as Calvert-Lewin was when he came into the team during the season, just doesn't score enough goals. He certainly occupies defenders a lot more than Cenk Tosun did. But Costa would be exactly what Everton need. And
Calvert-Lewin, what he was good at last season, I thought, was he can hold the ball up. He brings the other players into play, the back three, or the striking three behind him, the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson and Andre Gomes. Andre was playing a bit deeper, but he can score goals. We all know that. Diego Costa. He's played in the Premier League. He's well able to put up with Premier League defenders, and I think it'd be a great move. Like you said, with Wolves, they have got those options up front. West Ham, I don't know, like, what have they got there now? Really, like they've not got a.
Diego Costa would improve both teams, I think it's fair to say. I think we can speak for everybody when we hope that this is a deal. Right, so shortly after we finished yesterday, Lauren Koscielny hopped on the summer of 2019's hottest football trend and didn't bother to show up for Arsenal's pre-season. Lyon, Bordeaux and Rennes are leading the race to sign the French international. What do we make of the ballsy no-show move, and will Arsenal miss him if he goes?
Well, he only came back into the Arsenal team in December because he had that horrible Achilles injury that ruled him out of the World Cup. He's the captain. It's not really a great example to set as the squad is about to depart to the US. He's not going. He wants to be released from his contract a season early so he can go on a free transfer, whereas Arsenal don't want that to happen. But if he doesn't want to play, like, how can you bring him back into a team? How can you bring your captain back in? Like, he hasn't even done the, my back is at me. He hasn't tried the feign injury. He's just refused to get on the plane. He's done a Mr. T. He ain't getting on no plane. Now, obviously, they didn't try and trick him and give him a glass of milk and say, you'd be grand, get on.
A little injection in the back of the shoulder there.
But
he's not looking.
In terms of missing him, he didn't play that many games, but Arsenal are light at the back. And we talked about it earlier in the week that there's talk of Mustafi going. But it's all well and good getting rid of these lads, like, who aren't good enough if you want to challenge for Champions League football, but you have to replace them. And we know that Arsenal aren't flush with cash. So what are they going to do? And Emery doesn't even know what his best defence is. He doesn't know what his best formation is, because he tinkered with it all through last season to try and make them as solid as possible. But I'd say he still doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good news story whatsoever for Arsenal. Steve, we're going to flip the next one onto you. The Mirror says Bale's taken the opposite approach and has turned up for pre-season going hell for leather to force his way back into Zidane's plans. Now, given the level he's playing at and the financial complications involved in offloading him or not playing him, could there be a road back for the Welshman in Spain?
I read yesterday that his value has now dropped by 30 million euros, according to, I think it was AS in Spain. Apparently, after he got that glorious overhead kick in the Champions League final, his value was 90 million euro. He's now dropped down to the level of value the same as Casemiro, Toni Kroos, and there was one other Real Madrid player they said he was on a par with. Now, if you give me the option of signing Gareth Bale or any one of those players, I'll take the other lads before them. Gareth Bale, he hasn't been playing for months now, and you have to question does he have a passion for the game anymore? Does he, you got to play football. That's the most important thing. And I know he's getting a nice cushy paycheck there at Real Madrid, but surely he's got enough money in the bank now to just, so look, I would imagine, it sounds if he's going back into pre-season training like that, all hell for leather, I would imagine he's now looking at it at a way out.
Yeah, it sounds like he doesn't want to leave Spain though. But where's the best deal for him? If he goes back to the Premier League, Manchester United, as good as they pay him and, as huge a club as United is, do you not think he'd rather just stay in Spain? Bayern Munich was another one that he was linked with. That would be a good move for him because you're going to a team that is going to win the league.
Yeah.
Right, next one. Preston North End have confirmed they've accepted an £8 million bid from a Premier League side, Sheffield United, for a 24-year-old Irish forward, Callum Robinson. Where is he going to go and how much game time will he get? It looks like Sheffield United is where he's going.
Sheffield United are going to be, we're all going to be keeping an eye on Sheffield United, given all the Irish players. So pretty much the future of Irish football depends on Sheffield United. If you've got McGoldrick, you've Stevens, you've got John Egan in there as well. In terms of where he fits in, McGoldrick, Billy Sharp was banging in goals for Sheffield United. Is he going to be able to score goals in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's like that attacking three, really, isn't it, behind the striker that Robinson can play in, really, right or left hand side. And if they are we're seeing anything from 6.75 million euro to £8 million. If you're going to spend that kind of money at a club like Sheffield United, you're going to be playing this guy regularly, and it's a great move for him.
Yeah, I like him. I think every time I see him play for Ireland, he is one of our best players.
Yeah. We've got some rapid fire ones. Theo, you're first up. Roma and Inter are both looking to sign Lukaku. Will Manchester United miss them?
Yes, they will, because I don't care. What's Lukaku now, 24, 25? He's got nearly 50 goals and about 90 caps for Belgium. This fella, he's a goal scorer. I know everybody will say his second touch is a tackle, but he's a brilliant player. I know he doesn't do well maybe against some of the top sides, but this guy is a brilliant striker.
He need those goals against Bournemouth.
United will miss him. They will miss him.
Over on the blue side of Manchester, this is transfer rumour of the morning. Here's a flyer from Globo Esporte in Brazil. City have been linked with a sensational bid to bring Dani Alves, 36 years old, to the Etihad Stadium. Actually, this is not quick fire. Let's get both of your takes on this. Do you think it'll happen?
I saw him playing for Brazil in a couple of games in the Copa America, and he was excellent.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Still has his pace. Still well able to tackle. Brilliant player. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would play him instead of Kyle Walker.
Pep loves him.
It'd be a good kick up the backside for Kyle Walker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what he needs. Perhaps, who knows? Although Kyle Walker, fresh off coming in as right back in Kevin Kilbane's team of the decade, so we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves just yet. Right, Wilfried Zaha was excluded from the promotional shots for a new Crystal Palace trip yesterday, renewing speculation, it says in my script, but basically confirming his exit as far as I'm concerned. Arsenal want to pay close to...
He's in Africa.
Touché. Arsenal want to pay close to £40 million. The Express said that the club thinks he's worth up to £100 million. Steve-O, we've not got you on this because we've spoken about it loads over the last couple of weeks. Can he fix Arsenal, and how much is too much to pay for him?
What fees are we looking at here? What's being mooted?
Arsenal want to pay 40, Palace want up to £100 million.
I think 70 was the figure, was it?
I think 70,
So
70, 80 would probably
60 is the max for Zaha, isn't
That's
it?
the way these deals work. It's
40 does seem a bit low in the current market. 100 million is an absolute
joke.
joke.
Is 50 million. So if Palace have sold one, but then again the United tax. But they know, like,
What's the Arsenal tax? The extra £1 on the end of the
Arsenal, you
transfer?
take off money. You feel sorry for Arsenal, they're so broke.
It's not exactly a position where they're really stuck. Like, Arsenal need to be investing their money in defenders, not attacking players.
For sure, 100%. And I guess it all ties in a knot at the end. Lauren Koscielny to Wilfried Zaha. Always begins and ends with Arsenal in some manner or form.